I'm Danielle Houtz. I am the founder of the Oasis Community Recovery Club. We are a drug and alcohol recovery organization in Shamokin, Pennsylvania, and we've been around since 2019. I am from Shamokin. I grew up in Shamokin. I went to school here, and I work here for the last 27 years as a hairstylist. I've seen a lot of changes in Shamokin over the years. My brother suffers from substance use disorder, so he went to this place called the 521 Club. They do just AA meetings, but they also do sober events like Valentine dances, and they have bingos and different things like that. And I thought that was really something cool that our area would need it. So after a few weeks of thinking about it, I kind of realized I think I'm supposed to be the one that does this. And I started out by literally Googling how to start a nonprofit and just figured things out one step at a time from there. There were so many challenges. I mean, for starters, we had a pandemic. We got our official 501c3 letter in the mail from the IRS on August 9th of 2019, but we didn't have a location and we didn't have any money. So we had to kind of figure out how, when, where, all of the whys. And so as we were trying to sort through that, and we were working with the city, and the city was graciously wanting to give us a lease in our location, and they had some work that needed to be done here. And so contractors started, the pandemic hit, we hit March of 2020, everything slowed down, actually just stopped. We opened our doors of our physical location in October of 2020. Which was still kind of in the thick of the pandemic. Yeah. The state started to open back up again, but no one knew really what to do. So we were having meetings where people were wearing masks. There was a lot of people that didn't come back into the rooms right away. And so it was a slow go building up. We had all this momentum in 2019, and I'll never forget March 7th of 2020, we had a taco and game night where we had 60 people show up, and we were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, this is catching on. And it was the very next week where the governor shut the state down. Mm-hmm. So that was a big challenge. Another big challenge was getting people to take it seriously and realize we were really doing something. It's the first in our area. The state is recognizing what we are doing here at Oasis and kind of using it to model some other things, which is super cool. The county had offered us a space at the CareerLink building. We were kind of spinning our wheels waiting. They kept, we're gonna get the key to you, we're gonna get the key to you. And after weeks and weeks and weeks of me kind of just chasing everybody around to see what was going on, they finally said to me, there was somebody else in the building that wasn't comfortable with those kind of people being there. And so they kind of took back their offer of giving us space in the county building. Mm-hmm. And I don't know who that was. Was it the college? Was it the art council? Was it, but there's a lot of entities in that building that deal with those kind of people that are here. So yeah. I didn't think it was any of those. In our area, I think people are super understanding because you really can't run into somebody who doesn't have a family member affected with addiction. Sure. So on one hand, our community has been overwhelming with support. We put a need out there, especially on social media. If I put on Facebook, we need something, within minutes, people are donating whatever I'm asking for, right. And it's unbelievable support. Yeah. But there has been stigma, and the stigma has been on a more professional level. The first lawyer I went to get our 501c3 kind of was a total jerk to me. And instead of doing the work I was asking him to do while I was paying him to do it, mm-hmm. He judged what I was wanting to do. And really kind of he sat back with his arm over his head and said, you're gonna open a place with pool tables for people that do drugs to play pool. And just wasn't really listening to what I was explaining. And, yeah. So I had to find a second lawyer who was willing to do the work that I was asking him to do for me. And, sure. And there has been those stumble blocks. We really operate on donations and our community helping out, We have a little bit of pieces of grants from the county. The United Way shares some of their staff with grants they've already obtained, and they kind of spend some hours here, through those grants. But we don't have any solid funding that's truly ours on our own yet. Our mission statement at Oasis was that we wanted to be dedicated to providing support for people in drug and alcohol recovery. We wanted a safe and sober place for them, not only to have support meetings, but to have sober events. So the sober events include holiday meals, A lot of times the nights before holidays are big triggers for people. We try to stay open like the night before Thanksgiving, the night before Easter, like those big drinking holidays. We do New Year's Eve. We always have a sober New Year's Eve party. Super Bowl party is always a huge event here. We have people that will come from hours away to come to our Super Bowl party, which is really cool. We then also try to do some community awareness. Part of what we're doing is trying to educate people too. So we recognize Overdose Awareness Day. We recognize Black Balloon Day, which is another overdose event that happens in March. And then September is Recovery Awareness Month. So we kind of decided early on that we would have an event every September. It's our big fundraiser for the year. The first 3 years we did a walk. We started thinking the walk was feeling a little stale. So last year and this year we did a carnival. That was a huge success. From what I understand in the community of people that I connect with and network with in substance use disorder, our event is kind of like the best around, which is super cool. Nice. They're always blown away by the amount of attendance we have. But again, I'm throwing that into our wonderful community here in Shamokin, who they show up and they support. That's you know, right. and we have a mix of people that show up and support that event. It's people that are in recovery, that are really excited that we're doing something cool and fun in the city. And then it's just our community that wants to help out and give back that day. How did I come up with the name, the Oasis Community Recovery Club? I really needed a cool name that had like we're going to the something. I wanted it to be not so formal, sounding like a place that's a good time, kind of like the way a bar room might have a cool name. Mm-hmm. And I was driving one day on my day off, and I was in and out of the car running errands, and the song from the Oasis, Champagne Supernova, came on the radio. And there's a lyric in the song that says, "Where were you while we were getting high?" And it kind of just hit me that that's what we want our place to be. The place that someone's seeking their oasis when they wish they had something different to do than just get high. And the name Oasis sounded super cool to kind of shorten, but there are a lot of Oasis things associated with sobriety and recovery. So when I was searching how to kind of have the name be official for our 501c3, we also wanted to incorporate the word community, because we want to be a community. We want to be that refuge for anyone, because it's not just about people in recovery, it's their families.
Sure.
You know, addiction is a family disease.
Yeah.
So we want to be able to have the family here, not only with education and support. You know, we have a series of family meetings and groups that meet here, but it's really cool when you see people come in for a support meeting, a 12-step meeting, they bring their kids along, and we have a space where the kids can hang out. You know, the teenagers like to play pool and ping pong, and the little kids will put cartoons on the TV. And, you know, I grew up in a time when like our parents sat us in the bar room next to them while they were drinking. Mm-hmm. And I knew what the inside of a lot of bars looked like before I was old enough to be in them. But it's really cool for us to break that generation curse, and kids are here having a sober New Year's Eve party with their parents, and they'll remember that I went to that place where my dad went to AA. The Oasis is located in the basement of the Shamokin Public Library, which is in downtown Shamokin on Independence Street. We like to sound official and say lower level. We were in the basement. But when the space was shown to me by the Mayor John Brown at the time was the mayor, and Councilman Dan McGall, we couldn't even think that there would be a better space than this. Like once I seen the space, that was it. I was holding out for the lease because it's massive. Like the space goes on, like there's so many possibilities. And there had been this snack bar was already built from the last thing that was here, which was Club Echo, which was a teen club about 8 years before we opened. The projector room was already there. So the layout of some of what's here was easy because it was stuff that was already here. Right. But what we did was we created, you know, an area for people to watch TV or movies or the sporting games and things like that. But we have the space for meetings, you know, a dedicated tables, you know, with the traditional look. Then we have a space with a bunch of couches, which gives people a more intimate feeling for meetings sometimes. And you know, it changes up. If someone's going to a meeting 7 days a week, it's kind of cool if there's some different places to go or different spaces to
change your environment.
Yeah, because it would get stale if you're sitting at the same table for 7 days.
Right.
All the game tables we have been donated by our community. We have 3 pool tables, ping pong, foosball, shuffleboard. We have an area with a computer and a printer for people to use. There's internet here. We've, charging station for people to charge their cell phones. We have the food pantry. We have a little bit of a clothing closet, sort of for emergency use. In the wintertime, we usually have winter coats available for people. There's a separate space for the CRSs to meet, certified recovery specialists to meet people. If they have a need that's a little more confidential, we have a private area for that. We have a kitchenette. Unfortunately, we don't have a full kitchen. We're not allowed to cook here per our lease. They don't want us burning down the library.
Sure, I'm okay with that too, yeah.
But we are able to bring in food to have meals and things like that.
What's the reaction that people get when they see this place for the first time?
Nothing but positive. Like, we just get people saying, wow, this place is great. Just last night, I talked to a fella who I hadn't engaged in with before here. I said he's been coming here a little while, and he said, this place is so welcoming. It's like nothing I've ever been to before. So that is an awesome feeling when we get that feedback. If anyone is interested in getting involved at the Oasis, we're always looking for volunteers. We are open-minded to any type of support meeting. So if somebody has an idea for a group, it doesn't even have to always be something drug or alcohol related. If someone wants a group for people overeating or, gambling, people can get involved in anything down here they'd like. If they want to really help us out, we accept donations year round. We have a PayPal and a Venmo, and we are good old snail mail like paper checks too. Just reach out on our social media, reach out on our email, our website, ask. We take non-perishable food as donations. As much as I absolutely adore our space here, I feel like it would be really super cool for us to own our own building. So that's kind of a future goal I have, is that we obtain our own building, metaphorically and physically, to come out of the basement and be above ground,
right,
and be able to have people recover with anonymity, but also with pride. Sometimes, as much as, like I said, I love our space, there's times where I feel like people still feel like we're being shamed to the basement. Yeah. But it is a cool space. So if we're not here, I think something really awesome for the community could also move in here.
Right.